A very good morning to all. Today, let's start this class with a new chapter, chapter number 9, and the name of the chapter is Contact with Distant Lands. So, here in page number 77, you can see the big idea. So, these are the topics: the Sangam age, Tamilakam, Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas, Satvahanas, invasions from the northwest, trade routes over sea and land, the Silk Route, spread of Buddhism. So, we will be discussing these topics in this chapter number 9. Now, here you can see a timeline which shows that the Sangam age, it extended from 500 BCE to 300 BCE. And here in History Maker, you can see the picture of Shansung. He was a Chinese monk and a scholar. Monk means a person related to a religious community, and scholar means a person who has a great knowledge about a particular branch of study. So, Shansung was a Chinese monk and a scholar. He was also known as the Prince of Pilgrims. Here, pilgrim is a person who travels to sacred places for religious reasons. And he came to India in the 7th century in search of Buddhist text. And he traveled all over India and visited the places related to the Buddha's life, such as Kapilavastu, Varanasi, Gaya and Kushinagar. So, this was about Shansung. In this chapter, we are going to discuss about the Sangam age. Here, the Sangam word means a meeting point or confluence. So, here this Sangam, it refers to 3 assemblies which were held about 2200 years ago, where the Tamil poets and scholars, they gathered and they shared their expertise. Here, the poets, they came from Tamilakam, that means the present day Tamil Nadu and Kerala. As I told you, it refers to 3 assemblies, and the 3rd assembly was one of the most important assembly which was held at Madurai during the rule of Pandyas. And the literature of the first assembly has not reached to us because the city was destroyed due to fire and accidents just after the first assembly. And the literature of the second and third assemblies are available with us. So, here over 2000 poems were composed in Tamil language. The compositions of the Tamil poets collectively is known as Sangam literature, and the duration when these poems were compiled is known as the Sangam age. Here the word compile means to produce a list or to produce a book by assembling informations that is collected from various sources. So, the study of Sangam literature, it reveals that Tamil was a highly developed language during that period, and this Sangam literature has 2 main sections, that is Aham and Puram. So, here Aham, it consists of the poems related to love, that is personal emotions, and Puram, it consists of poems that describes the victory of the king or it describes the city. So, Sangam literature, it consists of 2 main sections, that is Aham and Puram. Now, this Sangam literature is divided into different anthologies. Here anthologies means the collection of poems and songs, and they are the Pattu Pattu, that means 10 sets of book. Next one is Ettu Thogai, that is 8 set of books. Next one is Tolkapiyam, that is the work related to Tamil grammar. Next one is the Padinel Kil Kanukku. It consists of 18 minor works that is related to the moral stories. The next one is the Kural, which was written by Thiruvalluvar, and then the 2 epics, that is Silapadikaram and Mani Meghalai. So, these are the few anthologies that consist in Sangam literature. This Sangam literature is mostly about the battle, heroic deeds of the king and the social, economic, religious and political life of people in those times. And with the help of this Sangam literature, we come to know about the Cholas, the Cheras and the Pandyas. So, let us discuss about the Tamilakam. So here during the Sangam age, when North India was ruled by the Mauryas and Kushanas, South India was ruled by several dynasties. Here dynasty means a family of rulers who rule over the country for a long period of time, and they are the Cheras, the Cholas and the Pandyas. And these three dynasties were at constant war among each other. So let's discuss these dynasties one by one. The first one is the Cheras. Here the word Chera in Tamil means hill country, and according to the Chera poets, the greatest king was Sengutuvan, also known as the Good Chera. And here present day Kerala and parts of western Tamil Nadu formed the Chera kingdom. The Chera capital was Vanchi, and it was also one of the famous trading center at Tamilakam. And here the emblem or the symbol of the Cheras was the bow. And here the Cheras, they had good relation with the Romans and the Greeks. And the Romans, they imported large quantities of pepper, ivory, precious stones, silk, sugar, cinnamon and so on. So this was about the Cheras. Now the next dynasty is the Cholas. And here the most powerful king was Karikala, and he built the Kallanai dam near Trichur across the Kaveri river. And this dam is one of the strongest water regulatory structure which is used even today. Here the present day regions of Tiruchirappalli, Tanjavur in Tamil Nadu formed the Chola kingdom, and their main capital was Urayur near Tiruchirappalli, which was famous for its cotton textile, and the secondary capital was Kaveri Pattanam, that was a major trading port. And the emblem or the symbol of the Cholas was the tiger. So this was about the Cholas dynasty. Now the next one is the Pandyas. Here the present day regions of Madurai, Tirunelveli, Ramanathapuram in Tamil Nadu formed the Pandyan kingdom. And Madurai was the capital, and the emblem was the fish. And the most powerful king of this dynasty was Neduncheriyan. And here it is believed that the Pandyan kingdom was a prosperous one. Prosperous one means very successful one. So according to the Romans and Greek text, it is said that the Pandyans, they had good trading relation with the Romans and the Greeks. So this was about the three main dynasties. And through different books like the Peripheras of Erythraean Sea and Sangam literature, we can confirm that the Indian kings, they established contact with distant lands through conquest. And India has a long history of contact with distant lands in different ways, and one of the way is through trading. And during the Sangam age, the trade route, it developed during the Satavahanas rule. This Satavahana dynasty was a powerful dynasty, and they ruled over parts of present day Maharashtra, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. Here the capital of the Satavahanas was Paithan in Maharashtra, and the Satavahanas kings were interested in encouraging trade, and they called themselves the lords of Dakshinapatha, and they controlled the coast. And they also encouraged the construction of roads to improve communication throughout the Indian decade. And one of the most famous ruler of this dynasty was Gautamiputra Satakarni. And the Satavahanas kings, they used matronymical system, that is, they used their mother's name to identify themselves. For example, Gautamiputra Satakarni was the son of Gautami. So this was about the Satavahanas rule. Now you all know that after the decline of the Mauryans, foreigners from Central Asia, they invaded into the northern and northwestern part of India. So let's discuss about them. The first one is the Indo-Greek. They were also known as the Bactrian Greeks, and they were the first one to invade India, and they were the first rulers to mint or to manufacture gold coins in India having the portrait of their king. And one of the most famous Indo-Greek ruler was Milinda or Menander, and the discussion between Milinda and one of the Buddhist monk, that is Nagasena, are recorded in a Pali Buddhist text which is known as Malinda Panha. So this was about the Indo-Greek. Now next one is the Saka, which is also known as Scythians. So they were the nomadic tribes of Central Asia, and here they defeated the Indo-Greek and they invaded the northwestern part of India. And here they established at Takshila and Mathura. So this was about the Saka. Now the next one is the Parthians. So the Parthians, they came from Iran and they ruled a small part of northwestern India, and Gondophares was their prominent ruler. So this was about the Parthians. Now the next one is the Kushanas. They were also known as Yuchi or Tocharians, and their empire extended from Kosaran in Central Asia to Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh, and they had two capitals, one at Madurai and the second one at Purushapura, and Kanishka was one of the famous ruler of the Kushanas. So here we discussed about the foreign invasions from northwest. This much for today. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you.